What is your video today, Patrick? I don't really have much WWE on this week today, so no reviews, no need to review anything, not until Sunday. So I'm thinking today I'm gonna make myself my first ever top 10 video. And I'm pretty sure you're aware on what those are. Where a person explains their top 10 or 15, 20, whatever you prefer. So, I'm here to do that. But I'm going to be doing this on the magical world of Pokemon. The great world of Pokemon. And I am going to be going over my top 15 favorite legendary Pokemon. Now, in case if people have played the Pokemon games and aware, I'm only going to include, in case if people are thinking, this shouldn't be a hard list. There's a lot of great legendary Pokemon, so these types of lists shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, but here's the thing. I could possibly tell what people are probably thinking. Some people might think, oh well, you got Darkrai, you got Arceus, you got Genesect, you got Mew, you got all these great, fantastic, legendary Pokemon. So your top 15 list is going to be quite easy. Well, I'm sorry to break your bubble here, but I'm actually going to disclude mythical Pokemon. I'm actually discluding mythical Pokemon. Now, in case if you don't know what mythical Pokemon are Pokemon you can only attain by events, such as Mew, such as Celebi, such as Deoxys, such as Jirachi, such as Arceus, Darkrai, Manaphy. What else are there? And Machado, the new one. Mythical Pokemon. I'm not going to include mythical Pokemon. Pokemon you obtain by events are mythical Pokemon, and I don't count them. I'm not going to count them. So, I'm only counting Pokemon that are basically on the box art. Basically on the box art, on the box of the game, and also legendary Pokemon that you can attain in those games. So those are the legendary Pokemon I'm going to be going over. So anyway, now that I've explained that, let's get on with the list. The first Pokemon I have on this list, coming in at number 15, is Dialga from the Diamond and Pearl games. Well, and Platinum, but just more Diamond and Pearl. The reason why Dialga sits at this position is because, I've had some good nostalgia with Diamond and Pearl when I first played it in 2007. Dialga was the first legendary Pokemon I obtained on the DS. Because Diamond and Pearl were the first DS games to ever be released into the world of the Nintendo DS. So I really appreciated it. And besides, when I was younger, I thought Dialga looked cooler than Palkia, as you would know from Pokemon Pearl. I thought Dialga was a lot cooler. So I preferred him because he looked cooler, his typing was better. So I found that so nostalgia got to the better of me there. But hey, Dialga is on this list specifically because he was one of my first DS legendary Pokemon. But I do like Dialga. He's actually really cool. Coming in at number 14 is the legendary Pokemon Ho-Oh, the Rainbow Pokemon. Now, I am not going to be talking about Ho-Oh specifically for Pokemon Gold, because I never really played a lot of Pokemon Gold when I was a lot younger. Even though I was around during the even though I was walking on my 2 feet in the early stages of my life when Pokemon was like, they had red, blue, and yellow, and gold and silver. I was really dumb when it came to playing those. So my first Pokemon games didn't come around until Ruby and Sapphire and Fire Red and Leaf Green. So I didn't technically play more Pokemon until round about those games. So, but yes, but I do know a lot about Ho-Oh from Heart Gold because I have played the remakes of Gold and Silver, the Heart Gold and Soul Silver versions. I don't know why, I've always preferred Ho-Ho more than Lugia. Maybe it's because I'm trying to be different. I guess I'm just trying to be different. People out there seem to really like Lugia more, so I'm thinking, well, okay, if everybody wants to like Lugia, then I'll just go ahead and like Ho-Oh. Because some people might think, oh well, if nearly everybody likes one certain Pokemon, then everybody should follow in that same step. Not really. I like to try to be different. I try to be different. I know there are some legendary Pokemon that everybody likes, but you would most of the time hear that this Pokemon is better or this Pokemon is better. You know, so I go for Ho-Ho because he looks cooler. And I actually really do like Ho-Ho's shiny form. It looks absolutely amazing. So that is why Ho-Ho takes the number 14 spot on my list. Coming in at number 13 is Kyogre. Now, everybody knows Kyogre from the Pokemon Sapphire, Ruby and Sapphire games and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire games. So everybody is aware of Kyogre. Kyogre, even though he was the first, even though, I'm going to tell you guys right now, even though Ruby and Sapphire were my games growing up, playing Pokemon, I only played Sapphire and Emerald. My brother mostly played Ruby, so he preferred Groudon because it looked cooler. So and he thought, oh, I might like Kyogre. And but I will be fair to you guys. I'm just gonna open up my phone for a second, guys. I'm gonna show you guys something. But I'm gonna tell you guys one thing that I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm not going to, put it up on the screen, but I'm just gonna try and put it on the speaker so you can hear it. There's only one thing that I found, that I found completely different is the fact that their cries, Groudon and Kyogre's cries, should I say sounds, actually changed. They changed when here. They actually changed during the actual series. Like, so in Pokemon Sapphire, Kyogre sounded like this. Hopefully it comes through. And this is the updated one, and that's the updated one. And this is the updated one. I don't know why. Kyogre in the new one just sounded like it's screaming. In Ruby and Sapphire, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, it sounded like a beast. But then in the updated versions, it just sounded like a screaming. It just sounded like all it wanted to do was just to scream its head off. So yeah, that's technically my complaints there. But Kyogre's a good Pokemon. I do prefer it to Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald Cry though. But I'm getting used to its updated one. So that's why Kyogre is number 13 on my list. Pokemon Sapphire, he was the first Pokemon he was the first legendary Pokemon I obtained on the Ruby Sapphire games. Even though I do prefer Groudon. So, because I just thought Groudon looked cooler. Coming in at number 12 is the legendary Pokemon Zapdos. Now, I'm a big fan of electric Pokemon. Electric Pokemon are my style. They're just my... I just prefer electric type Pokemon. I don't think there's a lot of people out there who are fans of electric types. I'm a big fan of electric types. Electric type Pokemon are like my favorites. So Zapdos, he has a good place in my heart. I've played Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red, like I said, the updated Game Boy versions of these. Well, Red, Blue, and Yellow got an update, which, as you know, which was Leaf Green and Fire Red. Alright, so Zapdos was the first legendary Pokemon I ever caught, and I just preferred him more than Articuno and Moltres. Even though there are people out there who might prefer Articuno more, and there might be people who prefer Moltres more. Which, that's fine, and the reason why Zapdos is so this low on the list is because, well, it's kind of hard, because there's a lot more legendary Pokemon to like, so it's kind of hard to... It's kind of hard to keep, you know, one legendary Pokemon you like at the top of the list, because it just feels really, really difficult, because, you know, there's so many new Pokemon introduced, and it's very, very difficult, because, you know, you might be gaining more respect over another certain legendary than a different legendary. So that's definitely something I want to point out to you guys. If you were confused why, if he was my favorite electric type, why is he this low? It's because of that reason. There's just so many new legendary Pokemon, and it's kind of hard to decide, you know, where they go. Now, coming in at number 11 can be considered as can be considered a question mark, because this Pokemon is part of the new series. Coming in at number 11 is Lunala. Now, some people might be confused by this, but thinking, whoa, he's one of the new legendary Pokemon. Why is he so low on this list? Well, I'm sorry to say this, but Lunala, I'm just not a fan of Lunala. I'm not saying I don't like it. If I didn't like it, it wouldn't be on this list. But, you know, I do like it. But I just think I just prefer Solgaleo more. I just prefer Solgaleo more over Lunala. Because what I do when I get two different, you know, Pokemon in two different games, when I get two different versions and there's two different legendaries on them, I just, you know, just try them out to see which one I prefer, and I just ended up preferring Solgaleo more. So sorry guys, if you were hoping for if you were just hoping for anything different, but, you know, it's my list, so I can do whatever as I please. But hey, I'm pretty sure there are people out there who prefer Lunala more, and I'm pretty sure there are. And I'm not saying that your opinion is wrong. Anybody can like whatever they want. Coming in at number 10, so we're coming into the top 10, guys. Coming in at number 10 is Xerneas. Now, the reason why Xerneas is in this position is because Xerneas, he was the first ever 3DS He was the first 3DS legendary Pokemon I ever caught. Because Pokemon X was the very first game I got. It was the first Pokemon game I ever got. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit more about this. Exonius is the first and only fairy type legendary. Now, I will be honest. When fairy was first introduced, I was like, really? Fairy? We don't need... Why do we need fairies? Why are fairies now existing in the world of Pokemon? So I was thinking, fairy's just going to be another forgotten type. But I'm still not a fan of the fairy type. But I will admit, using Exonius, because I had a feeling this Pokemon was a fairy type. So I wanted to be fair. I wanted to be fair, and I wanted to give this Pokemon a go. Just to see if this Pokemon can actually live up to the hype of fairies. And, you know, Exonius is basically my only fairy type. He's basically the only fairy type I ever use. He's the only fairy type I ever use. So... yeah. So yeah, I've got more nostalgia on Exonius than Yveltal. I know there are people out there who prefer Yveltal, and like I said, that's cool. You can like and dislike whatever you prefer. Alright, coming in at the number 9 spot is Zekrom and Reshiram. The reason why these ones are together is because I actually like both. I actually like both of these Pokemon, and it's kind of hard to choose which one I prefer. Even though I will say I do prefer Zekrom because he's a Dragon Electric type, but at the same time I'm just more like, well, it's kind of hard to decide which one I actually prefer, because I actually got Reshiram to level 100 much faster than... I actually got Reshiram to level 100 much faster than Zekrom. I don't know, maybe Reshiram is just more easier to use or something. But it's just very difficult. But Reshiram and Zekrom are both legendary Pokemon, and they're really good. They're really good. So I'm not going to deny people different, but you know, it's a good Pokemon. You know, it's a good Pokemon. I can't deny what people think of other legendary Pokemon. Alright, coming in from number 8 is now, we're now coming into the new series. Coming in at number 8 is Necrozma. Now, Necrozma, I wasn't going to put on the list. In the original Sun and Moon, I was just going to brush this guy aside. I was just thinking, he's just another collector's item for legendary trainers who just love to catch legendary Pokemon. But boy, oh boy, did they prove me wrong in Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon. I'm really glad they proved me wrong. Necrozma is such a freaking monster. He can KO your Pokemon in one hit in its Ultra form. And Necrozma is just so overpowered. All you gotta do is just get Solgaleo and Lunala paired with him, merge them together, and have him evolve into his Ultra Necrozma, and he becomes a monster. I wouldn't say a monster among men, but a monster among Pokemon. Get the joke I did there? So anyway, that's why Necrozma takes the number 8 spot on this list, because of his updates, and he just feels more important now. He just feels much more important now in the world of Pokemon, and I really do appreciate that. Coming in at number 7 is Solgaleo. Now, like I said, I do prefer Solgaleo more over Lunala, because Solgaleo, I've actually gone to use him more, and the way I work if people are wondering the way I work when it comes to legendary, box art legendaries, the ones I train the most are the ones that I seem to like more. So then you people will probably thinking, well, you said you prefer Zekrom more, but you got Reshiram to level 100 first. Yeah, but I've got to say they're completely different. They're completely different because back then I was kind of a bit younger, so I guess at that point at this point I just really didn't care as long as I had a level 100 legendary, because I really do like level 100 legendaries because of how overpowered they are. But let's get back to Solgaleo. Lunala and Solgaleo. I got Lunala to level 64, and I had Solgaleo at level 74. So it really did prove which one I actually did like more. So like I said, you can like Lunala if you want. I'm not going to criticize anybody for having a different opinion. Number 6 are the Reggie trio, Regirock, Ice, and Steel. You know, I'm not having these three separate because, you know, they're a trio, so it's kind of hard to have a trio separated. But of course, you know, Generation 3 was my favorite generation, because Generation 3, you know, Generation 3 is a really strong point in my heart, because, you know, that was the first games I ever played, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And it was and Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald series on television, the anime, and it was on the anime, and I really was into Generation 3. So I'm not a Gen 1er. I'm not a Gen 1er as what most people would rant at people when they do like top lists. I'm a Gen 3er, I guess you could call me a Gen 3er. I actually do. Generation 3 is by far my favorite. So, Generation 3 has always been my favorite because it was the first generation I just got into. So yeah, the Reggies, you know, they're not really all that good, but they're on here for nostalgia. So because you know, they look cool. I think they really do look cool. If you had to ask me out of the three, which of the three do I prefer? Well, I actually kind of prefer Reggie Steel, because Reggie Steel looks really cool. He's a robot, you know. Robot number one, or whatever, but, you know, Reggie Steel. Whatever. I'm not going to bother about that. But anyway, let's move on next. We're coming into the top 5. We're coming into the top 5 now. Coming in at number 5 is Groudon. Oh, Gen 3er. Here comes the Gen 3 legendaries. Anyway, like I said, Groudon I prefer more than Kyogre. So this is why Groudon's on here. Now I know I didn't mention this with Kyogre, but the reason why people have kind of preferred Kyogre more over Groudon is because of the fact that Groudon is a ground type and Kyogre is a water type. So people can easily say, oh, Kyogre is better because he's got a type advantage over Groudon. So yeah, that's why. And that's why people prefer Groudon more than Kyogre. That was until Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire rolled around, and my apologies, my bloody Facebook Messenger's going off. That was until Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Groudon's primal evolution prevents water attacks. Now some people might say, oh well, Kyogre gets that same ability, it affects fire type moves. But Groudon's not a fire type Pokemon. Yeah, in its primal form it attains the fire typing to it, but you know, it's kind of hard to see. And I think Groudon, all fairness, I think Groudon definitely gets the win here, in my opinion, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because its ability prevents water type attacks. Some people still might think, but Kyogre's still better. All you gotta do is just switch out your Pokemon, bring Kyogre in, and then its ability activates. Groudon's ability is gone. Then you can just use water type attacks. and just completely obliterate it. True, but people can always just withdraw Groudon and then bring him back in later on, have someone else take the suicide. So I guess that's something that people needed to keep in mind as well. But of course, then it'll be a back and forth route. But then it'll just be back and forth. They'll just keep returning them until they're the last Pokemon on their list, and then whatever the last Pokemon is, that's basically who's going to get the ability and get the win. But just don't do that. Just make it a competitive battle, just to see who's better, no matter what abilities on the field. Coming in at number 4 is Palkia. Now, Generation 4 was another generation I liked because all the legendary Pokemon just looked amazingly cool. Maybe not all of them, but I did prefer some of the good ones. So, there are some of the good ones on there. But I am basically going to say Palkia, like I said, I preferred him more than Dialga. Now, the reason why I kind of preferred him more than Dialga is because, like I said, Palkia was actually more... I actually found Palkia more easier to use. Even though Palkia was a Dragon Water, I just didn't really think what was the point of it. But now I think I've realized it, is that I think the Water typing actually helps Palkia greatly, because in that way, if you don't have a Water type Surfer, then you could always have him as your Surfer, Palkia as your Surfer, and help you get around. So I really do appreciate that as well for Palkia. And Palkia, I just found him more easier to train. I got him to level 100. Got him to level 100 much quicker than I ever did with Dialga. Coming in at number 3 is Giratina. Now, Giratina is by far my favorite in Generation 4. Non-mythical Pokemon. With no mythical Pokemon. But I think even with mythical Pokemon, Groudon, words, Patrick, Giratina is still my favorite. Giratina, when I first saw him in Diamond and Pearl, he was this big-ass thing with a long-ass neck. He was really huge, tall, and I was like, whoa, holy shit, what the hell is this thing? And then when it got its own game, Pokemon Platinum, I really began to like Giratina a lot more as well. My apologies on that. A yawn came my way, but Giratina, I did prefer him more because he was just cool. Dragon Ghost, that was a very ordinary type, I will say, but Giratina makes this list because of its coolness and because of how incredibly powerful it is. So yeah, that's basically why I like Giratina. Okay, coming into the top 2 now. Who are going to be the final 2 Pokemon on my top 15 list? Coming in at number 2 is Mewtwo. Yep, Mewtwo takes the number 2 spot. Because Mewtwo, even though he's the Gen 1 Legendary, Mewtwo was possibly the only reason why people liked Gen 1. Well, maybe not, but Mewtwo was just so overpowered, he was just so easy to level up. Mewtwo, when I first had him in Diamond and Pearl, I think this was the Mewtwo I transferred out of Fire Red and Leaf Green into Diamond and Pearl, Mewtwo actually felt really, really good in my opinion, because he was learning moves that he wouldn't normally learn, like Aura Sphere, because I didn't know Mewtwo could learn that move, especially in Diamond and Pearl, because I thought the moves for all these Pokemon were exactly the same until they changed in Diamond and Pearl. So yeah, Mewtwo takes the number 2 spot, and also he can Mega Evolution. He can also Mega Evolve. He was the first legendary Pokemon to Mega Evolve. Mewtwo X and Mewtwo Y. If you want to ask me which of these 2 Mega Evolution of Mewtwo's I actually prefer, it's kind of hard decision. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go Mewtwo X because Pokemon X was my first 3DS game I ever had. So yeah, I kind of preferred Mewtwo X. All right, my number one overall favorite legendary of all time is Rayquaza. Yep, Rayquaza is number one. Gen 3. You know, my list, buddy. My list. This is my list! This is my list. You don't criticize me. You know, Chris Joker puts whoever he wants on his list. You don't criticize him, correct? Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Rayquaza. Why is Rayquaza my overall favorite legendary? Well, first off, he's a snake. He's a green-ass flying snake. He's really long. He can fly. He's a dragon flying type. Yeah, that's probably the only thing that'll let him down is his typing, because he's ×4 weak to ice. Because ice types are weak to flying. Because ice types are strong against flying and dragon. So that will definitely let down Rayquaza. And Rayquaza also had a story in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And Rayquaza became the second legendary Pokemon to obtain Mega Evolution. But Patrick, what about Latios and Latias? They obtained their own Mega Evolutions. So are you telling me, so you're saying that Rayquaza is better than Mega Latios and Mega Latias? Well, yeah, I know that Mega Latios and Latias did get their own Mega Evolutions, but I think they only gave them Mega Evolutions, not trying to be mean. I do like them. And I'll be going over the legendary Pokemon that I didn't mention, and also I'll be asking if I like them or not. But Latios and Latias, you know, they were only given a Mega Evolution because I think they just wanted them to have one, because they were so uncommon and they just wanted people to use them. So I think that's the reason why they just gave him Mega Evolution. As for Rayquaza, I think he is definitely best suited to have his own Mega Evolution. But you don't need a Mega Stone for Rayquaza. All you need is a Meteorite. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it eats a Meteorite. And no matter what game you take Rayquaza to, he'll always have Mega Evolution. Because he eats a Meteorite to get his. So you don't have to worry about, you know, just switching it and you'll be thinking, oh crap, it's going to lose its Mega Evolution. It's not going to lose it. So, and also another thing that I liked about Rayquaza is that it got a new ability added. It's called Dragon Ascent. But for whatever reason, it was a flying type move. Even though it has the word dragon in it, it's not a dragon type move. I could probably see why. If it was a dragon type move, then you can easily just plow through the Elite Four that have dragon types. But still, I think it should still be a dragon type move. Anyway guys, that overall wraps up my top 15 list. Anyway, I'm going to be going over the legendary Pokemon that I never mentioned, and whether if I like them or not. So anyway, let's get going. We've got Articuno and Moltres. Articuno, the ice flying, and Moltres, the fire flying. Which, as you know, I mentioned Zapdos in my list, but not these two. I'm going to say Articuno and Moltres, you know, they're okay. I'm not saying I don't dislike them. I do like them, but I just prefer Zapdos more than both of them. Entei, Raikou, Suicune, and Lugia from Johto. These four I never mentioned from Johto. I do like the Legendary Beasts. I do like the Legendary Beasts trio. But, you know, it's kind of hard. I would say, oh, I just like all Legendary Pokemon. And there'll be no reason for me to do a list. But I want to be fair and just to show you guys my opinions on all of them. Lugia, I can see why people prefer Lugia more, because they think Lugia is more cooler than Ho-Oh. But, you know, it just feels more comfortable that way. If I just prefer one than the other. But hey, I do like Lugia though. Latias, you know, they're there. They're just there because they're there. The Lake Trio, they're not really all that useful, but I have used them before. Heatran, I originally did have on this list, but for whatever reason I just didn't want him on this list, even though I do prefer Heatran. He's actually pretty cool. But You know, I would go over more all the others, but I really don't want to sit here wasting everybody's time. I've I basically just about to hit 35 minutes. So I don't want to keep you guys on it too long. So anyway, guys, that's been my video. That's been my top 15 video of my favorite legendary Pokemon. Let me know if you really did enjoy this series and if you want me to do more. Maybe I might do more on maybe some other topics just besides Pokemon. But remember, the 3 things I really am obsessed with in life is the things that I really do like the most. Pokemon, Dragon Ball, and WWE. So you probably expect more out of these 3 topics than anything else. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching, and hopefully you all enjoy. See you next time, guys. Bye bye.